Charlie couldn't help feeling a little excited when he thought of meeting Aunt Lena immediately. Since the old Mrs. Wilson passed her birthday and was scolded for borrowing money at the birthday banquet, he has never seen Aunt Lena again because Aunt Lena was directly sent to Eastcliff by Stephen. Charlie has a deep relationship with Aunt Lena, almost treating her as his own mother. When Aunt Lena first became ill, Charlie desperately tried to get money everywhere, even secretly looking for options to sell blood, and also took a lot of private money from Claire in order to make Aunt Lena survive. If he hadn't done everything to help Aunt Lena raise money, Aunt Lena would have never waited for Stephen's appearance at the beginning, and she might have passed away. But Charlie felt that these were what he should do, and even so, he only paid back 1/10,000th of Aunt Lena's kindness to him. Dad had taught him countless times before his death that if a man is alive, he must know his gratitude. The ancients said that the grace of dripping water should be reported by the spring, and Charlie has always asked himself so. So, he didn't care. The noodles for Elaine were still boiling in the pot, so he took off his apron directly, stepped out of the kitchen, and said to Claire, who was accompanying Elaine, "Wife, I'm in a bit of a hurry." "Hospital?" Elaine immediately asked, "Have you cooked my noodles for me? I haven't eaten a bite of rice so far, so you want to go out?" Charlie glanced at her in disgust, and said impatiently, "The noodles are boiling in the pot. You can eat them out in a while. Aunt Lena has recovered from illness and I am going to pick her up." When Elaine heard this, she immediately scolded, "Wade, what is your bastard attitude? For a lady in a welfare institution, you dare to talk to me like this? Do you still have the consciousness of being a son-in-law? Don't concern if I have something to eat, drink, wear, or live." As she said, Elaine sneered again. "What does it have to do with you even if that lady is dead?" Charlie has endured Elaine for a long time. He thought that this mother-in-law would go in for 2 days and suffer a little bit of sin, and she could change a little bit, but she didn't expect her to change at all. Even more unexpectedly, she dared to speak out to insult his benefactor Aunt Lena. So he looked at Elaine and said angrily, "I eat my own, drink my own, wear my own, live in my own. Don't forget, this house was given to me by someone else, and the furniture in it I bought it with the money I made from feng shui, so I have this attitude. If you are not satisfied, you can move out and live in the old house." When Elaine heard this, she was suddenly speechless. She wanted to scold Charlie, but when she thought about it, she found that what he said was not wrong. Now it's not before. He used to live in her small house. He couldn't make money without telling others, so she could scold him whatever she wanted. Now he has a good life. Someone gave him such an expensive villa and gave it to him after it was renovated, and he could earn millions by showing a feng shui. On the other hand, she is already penniless. If Charlie really turns his face with her and prevents her from living here, what can she do? Thinking of this, Elaine felt guilty. Looking at Charlie's angry expression, she was also a little nervous and afraid. However, she still tried to save the situation, so she immediately looked at Claire aggrievedly, and choked up. "Claire, your husband is too much. Is there any son-in-law in the world who talks to his mother-in-law like this? You don't care. He won't shake the sky if this continues?" Unexpectedly, Claire said very seriously, "Mom, I think Charlie is right. Now we live in a villa given to him by others. If it weren't for him, we wouldn't have had the chance to live in such a good place, so you can't treat him like you did before. It's not fair." When Elaine heard these words, she felt sad. In the past 2 days, everyone in the family seems to have changed their attitudes towards her. Her husband ignored her, and even took the initiative to start a fire with her. The son-in-law is no longer the son-in-law at the mercy of others. He even became angry with her and asked her to move back to the old house. Even the only good girl who relied on her was no longer facing herself. She never dreamed that her daughter would speak to Charlie at this time. She is a great dramatist. Seeing that she seems to be losing power in this home, she blushed in the blink of an eye and started acting. She choked pitifully, "Now it's unnecessary for me to be in this house. Your dad doesn't care about me. Your husband threatens to kick me out, even if you are not with me." With that, Elaine twitched her mouth and tears flowed down. Claire sighed helplessly, and said, "Mom, it was indeed you who was wrong just now. I can't look at you all the time." Although she felt sorry for her mother for having suffered so much, this was not the reason for her mother to shout to Charlie, nor the reason for insulting Aunt Lena. Moreover, Claire knew very well in her heart that her husband had been very pitiful since he was a child, and he did not have many real relatives in this world. Except for himself, it may be Aunt Lena. This is why Charlie desperately tried to get money to treat Aunt Lena some time ago. She knew that in Charlie's heart, he treated Aunt Lena as a mother. She has always admired Charlie's behavioral style of acknowledgement, otherwise she would not give him all her private money and let him take it to Aunt Lena. Therefore, she also felt that her mother was a bit too much, and naturally she could no longer speak to her at this time. At this time, Elaine was already crying with tears, and sighed, "My life is really pitiful. Does this family still have a place for me?"